There have been lots of rumors going around about which Resident Evil game will be getting remade next. Some people think Code Veronica is next, some people think 5 Remake is next, and even rumors of a 1 Remake have been circulating. Odds are, all 3 of these games will get remade. So the question is, which one will be first? Well, I don't have a definitive answer, but I strongly believe Resident Evil Remake will be getting a remake next. A remake, if you will. But, Adam, that's ridiculous, you say. Code Veronica is surely next. What if I told you the entirety of Resident Evil Remake is contained within Requiem? Would you think I was crazy? Well, let's take a look at some evidence, shall we? I'm going to split the evidence into 3 categories. Category 1 will be gameplay mechanics. Category 2 will be environment design. And Category 3 will be bosses. As we know with Capcom, they have a track record of developing gameplay mechanics to use across multiple games. For example, the work done on 2 Remake was then used to remake 3 as well, and the work done on 8 was then used to remake 4. With this in mind, let's dive into the evidence. Category 1. Gameplay mechanics. In Requiem, Grace's sections of the game play very similarly to old-school Resident Evil, but specifically, they play very much like Resident Evil 1 Remake. Let's look at some comparisons. Comparison number 1, and the most obvious, you fight zombies. This one is kind of like, well, duh, but yes, just wanted to get that out there. Now when you defeat these zombies, their bodies remain on the ground, which is also true of Resident Evil Remake. Now let me ask you a question. In Remake, what happens when the zombies you leave on the ground get left there for too long? If you answered, they turn into Crimson Heads and get way stronger, of course, well, congrats, you get a gold star. Now does this sound familiar? In Requiem, the zombies you leave on the ground for too long turn into blister heads. And what do blister heads do? Well, they are way stronger than regular zombies. This comparison doesn't end here. In Requiem, there is a mechanic that allows you to permanently dispose of zombies to prevent them from coming back stronger. By going around the care center and collecting infected blood, which can be found many places, but namely in buckets, you can craft injectors that allow you to permanently destroy a zombie, preventing rebirth. Now the number of these injectors you can make is very limited, so you really have to pick and choose which zombies you want to get rid of for good. If you've played 1 Remake, you know this will sound familiar. As in that game, you can permanently get rid of zombies by burning them using kerosene, which you can collect all around the mansion, specifically from little jerry cans. Not to mention, the game also shares storage boxes that look like large chests, and typewriters in safe rooms with which to save your progress. Moving on to Category 2. Environment design. This category will be short, I promise. Basically, let's just take a look at some rooms that exist in both the Chronic Care Center, as well as the Spencer Mansion. Here, we have the main hall. This isn't too special. The series loves to reference Resident Evil 1's main hall. But let's take a look at a statue you can see in here. You see that? That is a statue of a woman carrying water. How do I know she's carrying water? Because that's the description you get in Remake when you examine this exact statue at the art gallery. If they aren't planning ahead with their asset reuse, I don't know what they are doing. Moving along on this property tour, here is the dining room. Lavish and complete with a fireplace at the end. Cozy. How about this nice kitchen with a very familiar layout? Jumping ahead, how about this nice large courtyard area with a beautiful fountain? Or these horrific catacombs where you don't know what might be lurking? Oh, how about this secret underground lab area? Yeah, I think you see what I'm getting at here. Moving on to Category 3. Bosses. I'm going to say something crazy here. Requiem has every single boss from Resident Evil Remake in it, except one. Did that sound crazy? Do you know which one is exempt? Pause the video and let me know in the comments now if you think you know. Alright, let's dive into it. Resident Evil 1 has 6 bosses. Let's list them real quick. 1. Yawn Snake. 2. Black Tiger. 3. Lisa Trevor. 4. Plant 42. 5. Neptune. 6. Tyrant. Now, if you're playing Requiem, or you've played it, you're probably thinking, I don't remember a giant snake, or a shark boss. Well, I assure you, all of the bosses but one are present, and we will go through them all to find out which one that is. First, let's talk about Lisa Trevor. In Remake, she is scary, unkillable, and she chases you through some of the game's scariest areas, including the catacombs. Sound familiar? Yes, her counterpart is Marie. Black Tiger, despite its name, this giant spider is one of several giant spiders in Remake. Obviously, Requiem makes a big deal about its spider boss battle Leon fights. Plant 42. Leon literally fights the same exact plant, but it's called Plant 43, moving on. Tyrant. At the end of the RPD segment, Leon faces Mr. X again, and when you fight him, his heart becomes exposed on his chest, and he gets a strong arm. This is of course similar to his fight in 2 Remake. However, if you pay attention to his moveset, it is more closely related to that of the Tyrant from the end of Remake. Yawn Snake. Requiem had no snake boss. You're right, it didn't. But you're wrong if you thought that this was the one they didn't include. In this cutscene, where Victor has Leon a little tied up, notice the jacket Victor is wearing? That is snakeskin. And, in this cutscene, if you pay close attention, you can see Victor's tongue. I believe this is the only chance you get to see it in the whole game. And would you look at that? He has a snake tongue. Now this doesn't end here. Victor visually represents the snake. But right after this cutscene, Leon fights a boss battle against a giant guy in the attic who wants to eat you. And if you know anything about Remake, you also fight the giant snake in the attic, and he certainly wants to eat you. Which means the Neptune Shark is the only boss that is exempt. Keep in mind, though, that there is a story DLC, and who knows what we may see in that. Now, I've got one more honorable mention for bosses. In Resident Evil Remake, Wesker is revealed to be a bad guy. Despite this, he dies in a cutscene, and you never even fight him.
What?
Sound familiar?
Sure.
Because sounds to me like that's exactly what happens to his blood memory clone, Xeno. A couple final notes. 1. In the JoJo locker, a copy of Resident Evil 1 can be found. 2. It has been nearly 20 years since Wesker was in a Resident Evil game. Capcom has been remaking the classic entries to bring them to a new audience. So, with that in mind, why would they remake Code Veronica, or 5, first, skipping over their chance to introduce Wesker to a generation of new gamers? I'll let you ponder that one. Alright, I could probably go on forever about why I think Resident Evil 1 Remake is coming out next, but I'll leave it here. In just a few days, on March 22nd, it will be the 30th anniversary of the original game. If Capcom didn't have something big to announce, they could have just pushed Requiem back by a month. What does this mean? Well, we will just have to wait and find out.